Oi girls and boys and everything in between, it's Ace Trainer Liam, and today I'm continuing my series where I go through each of the 18 Pokemon types and list my top 10 favourites just for you guys. If you're just jumping in and you're thinking to yourself, but Liam, haven't you done this before? I did do this, but this was well over 2 years ago, and in fact the video that I'm doing today was the very last video that I did in that series, and that was well over 2 years ago. So all I'm doing now is I'm working my way back through each of the different types, seeing which are my favourites, seeing if Gen 7 being a thing has had an effect on which ones are my favourite, which ones are not, just to give everything a bit of an update, make it feel a little bit refreshed, you know, that old chestnut. Today I'm going to be turning up the heat of... That's a freaking garbage pun. I'm embarrassed. Today, of course, I'm going to be looking at the fire type and all the wonder that that brings. Everybody is familiar with the fire type. If they played from Generation 1, if they played from Generation 6, it doesn't matter. We're all accustomed to the fire type. We know what it's all about. We know what it does. It doesn't like water. It doesn't like rocks. It doesn't like ground. But damn, if you're made of ice, bug, or grass, you're gonna have a bad time. And you steely types as well, you little buggers. But without further stalling and attempts to extend this video over 10 minutes so that I can get that juicy ad revenue, I'm going to bring you my top 10 favorite fire-type Pokemon. Number 10, Salazzle. My god, we are starting off with a beauty. Salazzle is just one of the best things to come out of Generation 7. What an amazing addition to the Pokemon roster is this beautiful, sleek, silky lizard that we've got going on over here. Now, apart from the simple facts that Salazzle is speedy, it's a great special attacker, it's a unique type, and not only does it have a fantastic primary ability in the form of corrosion, where it can use toxic or it can use poison gas and actually poison steel type Pokemon and other poison types, but on top of that, Salazzle has an amazing origin. So Salazzle, for those who don't know, is based on a Hawaiian myth called the Mo'o. And what the Mo'o are they are basically giant female lizards that can take on the form, they can transform into a beautiful woman to attract, you know, handsome young gentlemen like myself. I waddle on over, thing eats me. That's what Salazzle is based on. A Hawaiian myth of a giant girl lizard that turns into a beautiful woman and eats men. It's absolutely terrifying. And what's more, when you then think that its hidden ability is oblivious, which means it can't be infatuated, you can't use attract on it, you can't use cute charm, it won't affect it, the whole thing makes sense because all Salazzle are female. So you can't use attract on them anyway with the way Pokemon's mechanics work, because you can only use attract on the opposite gender in Pokemon. However, Salazzle with the oblivious ability can't be infatuated by men, by male Pokemon, because it makes sense, because she would be the one devouring the males. She's the one attracting the men. It's not the other way around. And it's just such a cool little piece of origin, a little piece of mythology built into Salazzle's character, and it works so perfectly. And that also explains why Salazzle are all female as well. Like, it's because the Mo'o are all female. It makes sense. It makes sense. Stop whinging because you found a shiny Salander and it was male. Just get over it and keep hunting for another. Number 9. Ninetales. Perfect placement in the list, of course. Definitely coincidental. Definitely not very deliberate. I'm not going to keep you long on Ninetales because it's just beautiful. The only reason it's in the list, really, is because it's so beautiful. Like, it's one of the most beautiful things to come from the original generation of Pokemon. It just works so well. It's basically just a fox with 9 tails, and it's pretty much based on the mythology of a fox with 9 tails. It's a little bit spiritual. Maybe it could have done with having the psychic type, then we wouldn't have needed Delphox, but that's a story for another day. Just Ninetales. Never change it. Although, saying that, I really like Alolan Ninetales, so you did change it. And I'm not even mad. Number 8, Magcargo. Magcargo's just dopey. Magcargo is just stupid. It's a stupid looking Pokemon. It's a freaking lava snail. It's hotter than the sun, but for some reason can quite comfortably live on Earth, and everybody can kind of comfortably live around it, even though it inside its shell is as hot as the sun, which would be very detrimental to the safety and the health of everyone around it, but for some reason it can exist. Because Pokemon, everybody, that's what we do. Magcargo's just great. I know it's got a 4 times weakness to water, but everything I love's 4 times weak to something, am I right? It's just, you know what? It's kind of cute. In the stupidest way, I just bit the inside of my cheek. In the stupidest way, it really is just an adorable thing that I just want to cuddle. And it's just kind of sad to know that I can't, because I would literally turn to cinders and die. Number 7, Camerupt. Look, we'll get away from cute things, honestly, we will get away from cute things, but Camerupt's pretty adorable. I'd love to cuddle and hang around with the Camerupt, but at the same time, avoid the volcanoes on its back. I feel like they would be less cuddly. I feel like there'd be quite a problem with cuddling something that has active volcanoes on its back. I don't know the logistics of it. I don't quite know how it would work, but I can only fathom that it would be a bad thing. But other than that, it's adorable. Again, much like Magcargo, it's a bit dopey looking, it's a bit dumb looking, and maybe just the mood I'm in today, I'm really liking dumb things. So thank you for tuning in. This is why you lose subscribers on the daily. Not bad. But honestly, I've had loads of fun playing around with Camerupt and its Mega Evolution, which is really freaking cool, by the way. If you've not checked that out, where you been for the last 4 years? Camerupt's just great. Can't fault Camerupt. It's just, it deserves a place in the list because it's just so magical to me. Number 6, Infernape. Arguably one of the coolest starter Pokemon there ever was. And oh look, it came out of Sinnoh. Of course it did. Sinnoh is wonderful, Sinnoh is life. But Infernape's just that kind of raw, badass kind of Pokemon that everybody really, really loves. I don't really know many people that don't like Infernape, and trust me, I know a whole bunch of you like Infernape, don't get me wrong, and it's nice to be able to put it in a list so you guys don't complain. But it's really, really fun. It's fun to use, especially if it has its hidden ability, Iron Fist, because it learns so many punching moves. Similarly, it learns so many good coverage moves, so it's not like it has to worry too much about particular weaknesses. The only thing it really has to worry about is that it is a little bit fragile, but a lot of the better fire type Pokemon that have a little bit of speed to them tend to be quite fragile and glass cannony anyway, and Infernape's no different. It's really not got the bulk, but it's certainly got the power, and I certainly love it for that. And plus, you know, the flaming mane is properly, you know, L'Oreal, because I'm worth it kind of stuff. I wonder how many more times I could do this before you start doing it at home. Number 5, Houndoom. Who doesn't love a Hellhound? Come on, it's just really great. I don't want to be too simple about it, like, oh, it's just really good. I just think this Pokemon is really good, mate. But it just is, isn't it? Do you ever look at Houndoom and think, yeah, I don't really like that? It's got bones for horns. Like, it's just, some people, there's a little creepy goth kid inside me that's just like, oh, it's so brooding and dark. And it's really just, it's great to see. It has a cool Mega, it has a really nice Mega Evolution, it's got some, it's got okay abilities, but it does have great stats. It's just nice. I'm trying to be descriptive, and I just keep coming up with words like nice and good and fine, but then at the same time, it's a badass Pokemon. It's just cool. It's the kind of thing where when you imagine what kind of mythical creature would you want to be your partner going through a world, and you're like, Hellhound would be great. Like, Cerberus would be great. This is kind of a one-headed Cerberus. This'll do. This'll do. Houndoom, you'll do. You'll hound do. I'll show myself out. Number 4, Charizard. This is the one in the list that I'm going to get told is the most overrated, and you're not wrong. It really is quite overrated. But at the same time, it's just a great starter Pokemon. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's a, well, it doesn't always actually, because it's supposed to be a dragon, but it's not dragon type, you know, it's just a flying lizard. But it's a great design in the sense that it looks like a mythological creature, but it's also very much simplified, which is what gives it the kind of overall token Pokemon look to it. And that's what I love about Charizard, is that it looks like a Pokemon. When people who don't like Pokemon try and name Pokemon, they think of Pikachu and they think of Charizard because it's such an iconic figure of the Pokemon world. It's such an iconic figure of the Pokemon franchise. It literally is a Pokemon icon. Arguably, more people recognize Charizard than Venusaur or Blastoise combined. And that is just a testament to how cool it is. That's the kind of thing that when you're a kid, you want that fire-breathing not dragon, to be your partner and to fly you around. And oh my god, I can't wait for Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee because I can fly around on a Charizard and that's going to be pretty badass. Oh my goodness. But on top of that, it's got decent stats, it's got 2 great Mega Evolutions, and it's just a fantastic piece of Pokemon history. We're getting close to the 25th anniversary of Pokemon, and Charizard is arguably as popular as it's ever been, and that's never going to end because it's just such a great Pokemon. Number 3, Incineroar. Now, I know a bunch of you are sick of me nerding out about wrestling because it's what I do. It's my other passion besides Pokemon is a bit of pro wrestling. And the heel Pokemon, aka, for those who don't know what a heel is, it's the bad guy in wrestling. The heel Pokemon's so great because it's just a big, bulking, bruising, Thundercat-looking, fire-type, dark-type beast, and it's so great. I love it. I love the fact it can have Intimidate because it should be intimidating. It's supposed to be a heel. It's supposed to be a bad guy. Bad guys should be intimidating, otherwise you don't really worry that the good guy's not going to win. And Incineroar just embodies all of that in this great package. I know a lot of people don't like it. It's probably, arguably, the least popular of all the Alola final stage evolutions, but for me, it's my absolute favorite, and it's one of my favorite fire-type Pokemon, hence number 3 in this list, because it's just so cool. I mean, I have problems with it, you know, like in the explanation of what Incineroar's all about when Pokemon Sun and Moon were first coming out, they did explain that it will ignore an opponent that is injured or too weak to fight. And that's completely not what a heel does. What a heel does is it takes advantage if someone's injured. If someone's tweaked their ankle a little bit, a heel will put their ankle in between a folding chair and then stamp on it to make it even worse. And that's exactly what I think Incineroar would do. I think that thing that they wrote on the website was just written by Incineroar's PR people to make it sound like a more reputable guy than it actually is. Incineroar, you're great. Keep messing people up because you're brilliant. Aren't you glad you got Drain Punch when the move tutors came out? Because I am. Number 2, Chandelure. I'm not going to keep you too long on Chandelure, basically because I want to talk about it more in my top 10 ghost types, which will be coming in the near future. So I'm just going to tell you at the moment that it's absolutely beautiful, it's really, really fun to use in battle, and it's a great example of an inanimate object Pokemon done right. It looks the part, it looks like a Pokemon while still looking like a chandelier, and it's just so creepy, it has a great cry. Just don't change Chandelure. You deserve that place in Pokken because you're a fantastic fire-type Pokemon, and I'll tell you real soon about why it's such a good ghost-type Pokemon. Stay tuned. Number 1, Arcanine. Of course it's Arcanine. I love me some Arcanine. It's just the beautifulest, biggest, beautifulest isn't a word, the beautifulest, I said it again, the beautifulest, biggest doggo in the entire world. It's just a great Pokemon. And to be fair, it was so great seeing Arcanine used so much back in VGC 2016. It's kind of died off a little bit in VGC 2017, but it's still nice to know that even recently it had a place in the championships because it's such a versatile Pokemon. You can build it for power and speed, you can build it for bulk and defenses and just rotate it round so it intimidates everybody over and over again. It has access to things like Wild Charge, so it can attack water types and not have to worry too much about being taken out too quickly, especially if it outspeeds and it's, you know, built for the power and speed side of things. It's a fantastic Pokemon. Again, it kind of looks like a dog, it kind of looks like a tiger, but it's one of those Pokemon where you look at it and even if you don't know anything about Pokemon, you can identify that is a Pokemon. I don't know what it's called, I don't know what it's supposed to do, but it looks like a Pokemon. Oh, it breathes fire? That's amazing! Arcanine deserves to be a legendary. It never will be, obviously, but it's defined as the legendary Pokemon and was originally supposed to be part of the group with Zapdos, Articuno, and Moltres, but then someone basically went,
why is there a dog with these 3 birds? Shouldn't we just have the 3 birds?
So then Arcanine was kicked out of that quartet, and it was made into the trio that we know now. I love you, Arcanine. I think you're great. Keep doing what you're doing, because you're definitely still my favorite fire-type Pokemon, and I think you will be for a long time. So that'll wrap it up for my top 10 fire-type Pokemon. Make sure you let me know down in the comments which are your top 10 fire-type Pokemon, and of course explain your reasons, otherwise it's just boring. If you want to help the channel, of course, like, share, and subscribe. Helps me out massively. If you want to see my videos before anyone else, go pledge to my Patreon. The link you need is in the description down below, and I'll see you very soon. But until then, I'm Ace Trainer Liam. Keep on training.